Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Number one, XRP is always in play where you have a financial system. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter whether XRP runs the CBDC or whether it connects all the siloed systems together, because all of these different companies want a different system to run. They want something customized. They're going to need something to connect them all together. XRP, the XRPL can play their part. Ripple can play their part if they want to. So you have some news today about the US CBDC. And of course, Stellar unleashed the beast today. We'll get to that a little bit later. I'll give you my thoughts on that. We'll read from the actual Stellar blog, okay, about what they did with the Protocol 20. This article right here is titled US CBDC Digital Dollar Discussions Underway. Will XRP fit in? Well, let's establish a few things. Well, firstly, we know that Ripple, heavy pusher of XRP, is involved in the US Faster Payments Council. So possibilities are always on the table. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. I don't need XRP to run the US CBDC. If we connect all the systems together, if we just have all the banks utilizing XRP at some point in the future, if that's going to occur, right? No guarantees in anything, but that is enough to skyrocket XRP's price beyond belief. Swift alone has what, over 10,000 banks? You think, and early on, Ripple was saying how they had hundreds upon hundreds of banks. Some of those you can find on Amazon Web Services to verify that, right? You think that Ripple can get at least 1,000 banks? I would beg to differ. I definitely would beg to differ. And I think they could get much more than that. I really do. There's a lot of banks for the taking. So if you have a US CBDC, that means that they're going to have to bend the knee at some point to passing some sort of regulations on digital currencies. They can't, on the one hand, say we don't trust digital currencies. On the other hand, they're using it. I just don't see that happening. What I think has been going on all along is they've been holding everything back so they could get in the door. They could get this in the door. I told people. And now you see discussions heating up once again about a US CBDC, even though the whole time, see this game that they play, they tell you, look this way while they're going that way. The whole time they're telling you we don't like digital currencies anymore. We don't like, because in the beginning they did. You remember when we first came on the channel, US government, the Fed, they were sort of bullish to digital currencies and CBDCs. Then at some point, all that verbiage changed and then they were against CBDCs. Now, like I said, we covered an article the other day where there was an individual from the Fed that came out maybe in the last few days and was very bullish on digital currencies. And I even said in that video, that was very contrary to what everybody else in the Fed is claiming that they feel. And that was very interesting that this individual, a high-ranking member of the Fed, would come out and say such a thing. And now we see this. So now I'm starting to understand why that individual will come out and say certain things. But also, let me say this. Number one, shout out to Matthew and shout out to Sydney. They were the first two commenters in today in that earlier video that I released about building businesses with $0. It's all facts in there. I give you all the different sources and links and such. You can go check things out for yourself. So, but they were the first two, so I appreciate them greatly for being there and being there early. Number two, yesterday, I just simply forgot to put in the article. In the first chapter, it was Linda P. Jones that was the Wall Street expert that they're talking about there, and she was making the claims about XRP. Not anonymous. I just simply forgot. Sometimes I'm tired, everyone. I have so much stuff to do every single day. I know you do as well, so I know you probably understand. And sometimes I can forget things. I might forget to put in an article or something, or a little piece of the video might be not chopped to where it's not supposed to be chopped. You know how that goes. I am a person, folks. I make mistakes. That's all. So now, this article goes as such. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says, the United States Federal Reserve is still undergoing negotiations regarding the development of its central bank digital currency dubbed the digital dollar. According to a Forbes report, closed-door meetings are underway as confirmed by sources in a recent meeting between Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell and Democrats in the U.S. House Committee on Financial Services. Per the report, Powell told the Democrat members that Congress approval is ultimate in the push for a digital dollar. Now, what that Fed member said the other day in that article that we covered was that the U.S. digital dollar would, as well as stable coins. That's another thing. He talked about stable coins. That US digital dollar or stable coins would go a long way to reaffirming the dollar's dominance globally. Now, I'm putting two things together because they're saying that at the same time, you got the BRICS nations going nuts, making all types of statements, making all types of claims. They claim they have a system ready to go. I don't know if that's real or not. You decide for yourself whether you think BRICS nation is a big threat to the dollar or not. I tend to believe that the U.S. is a bigger threat to the U.S. dollar than anybody. So, but we could differ of opinion. No problem. No problem. So there you have it. Now, let's move on to a little bit of Stellar news because I'm ready for Stellar to go into beast mode. It's been years in the making. We've been supporters and holders of XLM for a long time. At least I have. I just speak for myself. Very, very serious, stern supporters. No stepping back. No steps were taken back. No playing around with XLM. So I'm interested to see if they can dominate with these smart contracts. They're cheaper. They're fast. They're respected. Now is the time to make a big push, but that's going to be up to Stellar Foundation and the companies building on Stellar to do that. Now we get to see. So this is a blog from stellar.org and it's titled Protocol 20. Finally, Protocol 20 and smart contracts are live on the mainnet. It's about time. I'm excited. I want people to go nuts with these smart contracts. Remember, I covered in a video all of the different ways XLM, and this is I got that from Stellar's website. All the different ways XLM is used in those smart contracts, transactions, and all types of things. But you can watch that video or you can just go search on stellar.org and get that same article, that same blog piece that I read from. OK, all facts. So it says here on February the 20th, Stellar Network validators voted to upgrade mainnet to Protocol 20, kicking off a new era for the Stellar smart contracts tech stack, which delivers a secure batteries included developer experience built to scale and for real world use. Getting to this moment has been an incredible journey. For the last 2 years, Stellar Development Foundation and the Stellar community have discussed, designed, and built new functionality, transforming the Stellar network. We know all about it. We've been here the entire journey from the bull run through the bear market, still a little bit of a bear market. It's not a true bull run to me just yet. Up till now, the bottom line, we have been here. We know all about it. So it says here, together, we iterated over 10 releases in the open, designed novel concepts aimed at solving some of blockchain's biggest unsolved problems, like the state bloat, committed hundreds of thousands of lines of code, deployed 160 plus projects on testnet, and awarded tens of millions worth of XLM through 24 rounds of Stellar Community Fund to support developers and projects that are building next generation everyday financial services on Stellar. Yes, Stellar has done a good job over these years. Now it's just a matter of time before I believe everything will be unleashed. We shall see. You got to make up your own mind of how you feel about that. All right. I'm not here to tell you how to feel about Stellar. I just speak for myself. I think they're going to do a great job. Now they can start competing in those markets where Solana is, Ethereum is, or they can start dominating as a smart contract platform if they play their cards right. So now it's just a matter of seeing how they go about all of this and how much interest their smart contracts draw. There's certainly enough money to go around. There's certainly enough business to go around. They need to flex their respect. They need to flex, in my humble opinion, Stellar Foundation, because you want to get people to use this, right? So you need to flex that you have the United Nations as a utilizer of Stellar, Wisdom Tree, Franklin Templeton. And even if they don't, I think that those organizations at some point in the future, you're going to see them begin to use those smart contracts because they're already using Stellar. Keep in mind, the Bank for International Settlements is also using Stellar for their green bonds. How does this play into all of that with them? Do they begin to use Stellar smart contracts to some degree? Any of those organizations, in my humble opinion, would be great to begin using Stellar smart contracts. But also, I'll say this. Also, it could lead to other businesses using Stellar because those are really, really big big businesses, powerful entities. They have a lot of influence. So if they're using it, somebody else who, no disrespect, might be lesser, may say to themselves, well, if Wisdom Tree is using it, if Franklin Templeton is using it, if Bank for International Settlements is using it, should be good enough for us. That type of thinking is very powerful and very widespread in the world. So there's that possibility. But good job, Stellar. And now it's just a matter of time. Let's wait and see what happens. So now, another one of our coins here that I'm keeping my eye close on, Chainlink. Chainlink continues to make me super bullish. This article is titled, Chainlink Executive Says Leading Banks Have Begun Tokenizing Real World Assets. Chainlink executive Nikki Ariasinghe said the move toward tokenization is not speculative. It's already in full swing. So this individual came out swinging and wants to drop the facts. You know, a lot of people will challenge you all the time and say that what you're talking about is speculative, and it's just a lot of challenging going on in various communities. And so you have to have individuals like come out like this and drop the facts on them and say, hey, no, I know for a fact I've been in meetings or I saw some data, something like that. It says Chainlink Labs is guiding major financial institutions towards adopting blockchain technology and tokenization. That sentence right there tells you how bullish Chainlink is. It says, which is already underway, according to Nikki Ariasinghe, head of business development for Asia Pacific and the Middle East. During a recent talk, Ariasinghe shared insights into this transformative journey, emphasizing the industry's pivot from pilot programs to full-scale production deployments. Real transactions, real impact is the next section. It says, according to Chainlink executive, the move toward tokenization is not speculative. It's already in full swing. Leading banks worldwide are actively preparing to harness the vast opportunities presented by tokenization, transitioning, which would mean also have implications for global clarity. You need global clarity. I just don't see how all these businesses will use this particular technology without there being clarity. Or justifying that. I could be wrong. Maybe there's an angle I'm not looking at. It says transitioning from successful testnet pilots to launching their platforms on the mainnet, essentially laying the foundation to support trillions of dollars in tokenized assets. Ariasinghe said that the adoption of blockchain for real world transactions is already underway and pointed to Broadridge as an example. The company has launched a blockchain-based repo platform that handles over $70 billion daily in transactions. See, now with these types of things here, this is where the sweet spot is, where you have a customized system that doesn't have interoperability. Just like smart contracts, interoperability is going to be major for utility coins. And that's why you see Chainlink doing what they're doing. And I think to another extent in the future, if they play their cards right, you're going to see Flare do very well because they need to connect. People need them to connect all these systems. There's a lot of systems that need to be connected. They don't have interoperability. So let them continue to build things like that. It says such platform, in my humble opinion, such platforms showcase the tangible impact of blockchain technology, hinting at a future where real world assets are increasingly digitalized across various verticals. It says supporting tokenization. Ariasinghe said that Chainlink provides a platform that integrates data computation. Well, we know all about Chainlink. They're continuing to do very well. It says he added that over 40 institutions worldwide are working with Chainlink Labs. 40 institutions. It says focusing on live transactions with real value on blockchain. This includes financial giants like Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, HSBC, which are actively developing tokenization platforms in preparation for the opportunities ahead. All right. So Chainlink continues to be extremely bullish, in my humble opinion. They're doing a great job over there. Very impressed with them, as well as Solana. Let's move on here. So this article is titled Finance Expert Predicts Bitcoin Will Touch $100,000. I hope so. A lot of you hope so we can make some good money off of Bitcoin. Then also, I think by that time, the bull run will have been long going, and a lot of other coins will explode. As you know how it works. So now they say finance expert. A lot of people take umbrage to that. They get very upset when they hear finance expert, and they say everybody's a finance expert. That's what these article writers do. I don't control what they do. That's what they do. They say so, but in this instance, they're talking about Robert Kiyosaki, who a lot of people would consider a finance expert. But that's how these writers do. They call everyone an expert and a pro analyst. It makes the article sound better. You got to understand, with article writers, I understand they have to get views on their article. They want it to sound powerful and good. And that's difficult after writing thousands upon thousands of articles. I get that as a video creator. It gets difficult coming up with titles, and they want to show respect to the people, maybe build some connections or something like that at some point, maybe, right? So they're showing respect at the same time. So for me, it's no big deal reading that. But anyway, so this article is titled, once again, Bitcoin will touch $100,000. It says, renowned finance author Robert Kiyosaki has once again made a bullish price prediction for the flagship cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. This time, he predicts that Bitcoin will hit $100,000 and mentions when exactly this will happen. Wow, that's pretty bold, just putting a date on it. It says Kiyosaki mentioned in an X, formerly Twitter post, that Bitcoin will hit $100,000 by June 2024. Whoa. I'll take it. If it does that, I'll take it. I want it to go there, sir. But by June? Well, let's see if he explains what makes him say this. Because of the halving? Maybe that's what it is. Because of the halving, right? When is the halving supposed to happen? It says, however, he didn't mention what will propel this massive surge. The finance expert is known to be a huge advocate of the foremost crypto token and at different times given his opinion on its potential. Before now, okay, so then they go into his history of being the author of the book and things of that nature. So let's move on here. We have just two more articles to get through here. And I think we're doing a good job. I hope you're all doing very well out there. I hope everything's going great for you. I hope you're finding peace. I hope goodness is coming to you. I hope people are giving you love. All right. I hope you're loving yourself. Tomorrow is always can always be brighter than today, even if today was bright itself. Tomorrow can be brighter. All right. All right. So now this is crazy. This is a crazy article. This is from financialtimes.com, ft.com, and it's titled Bad Property Debt Exceeds Reserves at Largest U.S. Banks. This is getting out of hand. It says loan loss provisions have thinned even as regulators highlight risks in commercial real estate market. Now, remember, anytime I talk about bad property loans, the commercial real estate debt, I talk about the banks getting hacked or any of this type of stuff, it has to do with the collapsing of that system and the rapid implementation of the new financial system or the advent of the new financial system. That's why I cover these things. It says here, commercial real estate loans have overtaken loss reserves at the biggest U.S. banks after a sharp increase in late payments linked to offices, shopping centers, and other properties. The average reserves at JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley have fallen from $1.60 to 90 cents for every dollar of commercial real estate debt on which a borrower is at least 30 days late, according to the filings to the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. So this is legit. The sharp deterioration took place in the last year after delinquent commercial property debt for the six big banks nearly tripled to $9.3 billion. This is Michael Barr, who oversees bank supervision for the U.S. Federal Reserve, said on Friday that regulators, quote, have been closely focused on banks' CRE lending, commercial real estate lending, including, quote, how they are reporting their risk, quote, internally, and whether they, quote, provision appropriately and have sufficient capital to buffer against potential future CRE loan losses, unquote. Across the wider U.S. banking sector, the value of delinquent loans tied to offices, malls, apartments, and other commercial properties more than doubled last year to $24.3 billion. That's up from $11.2 billion the year before. Like I said, and you know what's insane? A lot of things will win if the banks go down. A lot of the Bitcoin will explode. Gold will go insane. I think if the banks go down, I firmly believe, I feel it, and it's just, this is not financial advice. I really feel like gold could go past $2,500. I do. And you know what? I don't think that's out there as a prediction. I don't, because you have professionals, real gold professionals, calling for in the future a $3,000 gold price. And sometimes, you know, it can make one scratch your head and say, whoa, $3,000. But when you take into the catalyst of the possibility of multitudes of banks going down, and people always retreat to gold, always, no matter what country it is, when problems happen, whether it's geopolitical or purely financial, people retreat to gold. They trust gold. So when I look at it that way, with that catalyst, I say to myself, maybe $3,000 isn't so out there. But I think, yeah, with a multitude of banks going down, and I'll say this, not just the US. I usually focus on the US, but we covered an article recently where we discovered there's multiple banks in India that are ready to go down. I mean, there's problems, major financial problems in Japan. These financial systems are, so if any of them go down, it could make some huge waves. So I'm keeping my eye on them. Okay. I'm keeping my eye on them. So let's go here to a little bit of gold news, right? My absolute favorite. It's not the sexiest precious metal, but it's my absolute favorite precious metal that I feel comfortable with. I've been in gold for a long time. I'll tell you the sexiest. You're like, well, Mick, what's the sexiest precious metal? Platinum. Wait, I will put a little bit of let me say something else. Platinum, unless palladium has a dip like what it just had, where it went and it was about the same price or something like that as platinum, then palladium is right there. Because, man, when it goes up, you know, it's a moneymaker. But I'll say platinum, because when platinum is doing really well, it can go down a lot. It can go up. It's a definite moneymaker at certain times. All right. So now, this article is titled "Gold Price Soars as Fed Sees Inflation Declining in the Long Term." I'm going to tell you once again, these numbers that they put out there are they're not real. They're very fake to me. I'm trying to be respectful. All right. Energy as well as food are not taken into account in their inflation numbers. And people continue to have a hard time with that. But anyway, gold price extends its bullish streak for the fourth straight trading session on Tuesday. The outlook for the precious metal has strengthened as commentary from the Federal Reserve policymakers that inflation is broadly moving in the right direction has faded the impact of stubborn consumer price index and producer price index PPI data for January. The confidence of the Fed, they always say the same thing. They do. The confidence of Fed policymakers. What else are they going to say? They're going to say, "Oh, the house is burning down. Is everything's going straight to hell?" No, they're not going to say that. Of course, they're not. It's not in their vested interest. It's in their vested interest to keep the confidence of the people up in the Fed, and the Fed doing its job while they try to repair it if they can. So the confidence of Fed policymakers that inflation is declining over the long term has trimmed the opportunity cost of holding non-yielding assets such as gold. Meanwhile, investors await the Federal Reserve Open Market Committee, FOMC minutes for the first monetary policy meeting of 2024. The FOMC minutes will provide cues about the timing of the 3 rate cuts as forecasted by the Fed. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.